Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank live from the FaZe warehouse. I'm joined by Benji Nassim. We got Chris Duarte, aka Parasite, and of course we got the one and only Patrick Price, aka The Slayer, aka Aches. Gentlemen, what's going on, guys? How we feeling today? How we doing?
Good day. You know, fun Sunday before the major. Lots of sports on today. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs tomorrow. Call of Duty matches.
The COD matches today were absolute piss, bro. Piss. Pat, we saw 3 DoorDash challenges today, Pat. 3.
Yeah, and it's not surprising, Tom.
Yeah, that honestly isn't.
I don't think any of us were expecting anything out of Rokkr. I was a little surprised to see Breach go down so fast. I thought they were gonna at least put up a little bit of a fight. And then of course LAG, I mean, we've talked about them. They're not even in the league.
They're down bad.
We're in an 8-team league. They're not even in the league anymore.
They're down bad for sure, man. They're down bad. How's everything going at XDefiant? How's the beta going?
Oh, Tom, it's going great. It's going phenomenal.
That's always good.
I actually hopped on stream today. I got some games in with Symphony and Karma.
Okay. Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
And Slack. Yeah, we were vibing out, doing a little Q&A, getting a little insight. We were gaming, so yes, it's going great.
That's dope, bro. Chris, how you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing good. Speaking of XDefiant, listen, I'm just glad the CDL teams today decided to do us a favor because I'm itching to play some COD and some XDefiant on stream later.
Yes,
but
sir.
you're talking about how we got, a-team league. With the way some of these other teams are performing lately, it's looking like a 5-team league, 6-team league, maybe. Like, it's getting bad. Some of these teams are, they might not be at the bottom of the standings, but what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, dude. I have no idea what's going on. Matter of fact, today's show, we're going to go over the matches. We'll give a quick little recap. We'll show you guys a little bit what's going on because of how quick they were. We're not going to spend too much time on them. We're also going to answer some questions on the Reddit. We went through, where I just posted on the Reddit, so I'm sure they're coming in with some questions as we speak. And then we might make a bracket. I want to make a bracket for the major. But Ben, I don't know if that has popped up yet. So you could just keep me updated on that, Benjay, and if it pops up.
You.
What's it look like now? Is it working now or no?
No, I'll let you know when it's working, Tom.
Okay, Ben. All right. Ben, is there a problem, Ben? Is there a fucking...
Sounds like
no problem.
Ben Slay, I think there's a... I don't know. Ben's been talking to me with some attitude today.
You're giving me attitude.
Is everything okay at home?
Who gave you attitude? I gave you attitude?
Yeah, you're giving me attitude.
Nah, I was being nice.
Ben, if something is going on, you can talk to us. We're your friends here.
Hey, bro, it's a safe space. It's just us. You know what I mean? You could talk about whatever. Let's hop into the matches. Let's do what we do. First match of the day. We got Los Angeles Guerrillas going up against the Seattle Surge. We start things off on an Embassy Hardpoint, Fortress S&D, El Asilo Control, Fortress Hardpoint, Embassy S&D. I actually was unable to see the first map today because I lost internet and had to drive over to the warehouse. So I'll let Ben take the lead on that one. But guys, any thoughts on the vetoes as we hop into the series? This was a quick 3-0 as well as the other series.
No, double Mercado veto for Seattle, pretty standard. Understand the hotel and Asilo vetoes for LAG. I mean, I just think as we get kind of into map 1, which was a pretty decent start to the map, but as we see on this all the time, the P4 and the P5s are your money hills, and I think the sub power on Seattle was too big. And they got off to a good lead on the first set of them on this map. They were up I think 40 or 50 points.
Yeah.
And then on the next P4 and P5, they pulled away and were able to get the W from there.
Yo, what's going on with Seattle, man? I feel like they're hitting form right now. They look really good. Obviously, they're playing LAG here, but they took down FaZe yesterday. I felt like today they're kind of riding off that momentum. You guys think these guys have a solid chance of winning the event or what?
As long as your S&D holds up. But go ahead, Pat.
I was Chris. I think they have a realistic shot. I think there's a couple teams that do, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure. But Seattle, yeah, they've gotten way better at search. They're actually competent. Maybe they're still not the best search team in terms of actually closing out maps, but they're starting to put together a lot more 3-0s. And you got some good performances out of accuracy this split. So they're looking like a real contender if everybody else in their team keeps up their current form. As far as LAG, man, I mean, these guys have just been compromised. I don't think these guys are slowly starting to lose faith if they haven't already. I mean, these guys are clearly frustrated every single day. They play their matches. You can see the tweets coming out of Arcitys and co. And these guys are always they're not having a good time over there. I'll tell you that.
What did Arcitys tweet? I need to go see.
I mean, just every time they lose, it's just like his tweets are just like
sad.
They're sad, or they're like fake laughing, where he's just kind of like laughing at his situation. Like,
I mean, it feels like he's a little checked out. I just don't know on the LIG side like what they want to do. Right, they're still, I guess, theoretically could win this event or Major 5. It's not going to be likely. It's not going to be likely, Pat. So don't roast.
What do you mean? What they want to do?
I mean, are they down to make roster changes? Can they make roster changes?
No,
bro. Ben, there's like one person there.
Yeah,
so I guess it's fucking chalked.
It's chalked. It's chalked in that camp. And you're right, Ben. Seattle did chain the P4 to the P5, and look how they played it too. The LAG they pushed the last 20 seconds. They sent 2 or 3 guys, and Seattle do a good job just pushing up the map when they get those kills. They flip them out pretty well. That was a good play from Seattle. They end up getting a pretty big lead early on here. In the first rotation of hard points, they got about +30, +40 lead. So good job from Seattle. LAG's definitely not going to change. They have, like you said, there's nobody over there. Isn't the whole organization just completely dead right now? There's legit nothing going on.
Yeah, there's like one person there. Everyone went bye-bye.
So what? I don't understand what's gonna happen to these guys at the end of the year. Like if they can't get it, what if they can't sell? What if they can't get another team to come in?
I mean,
That'll
we don't know.
Fun for Activision to find out.
We don't know what the franchise agreements are. We don't know what's in them. What the minimum terms for a team. Like I guess it's the legal question of a document we have never seen. My guess is LAG is gonna be required to field a team if they can't sell, and I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, are they even gonna try to be competitive? Or are they gonna like just drop everyone down to the minimum? Like, what's gonna go on there? I'm actually kind of curious. I kind of feel bad for Assault right now, man. Assault, I mean, yeah, they might not be putting up the results they want, but I think Assault has like a top 10 KD. I know KD doesn't matter, but he's been able to string some solid performances or solid maps for this team. But it just seems like the rest of his team isn't really delivering, and they can't close out any maps that they get close to winning. It's kind of sad, and I kind of feel for some of the guys over there.
Yeah, I feel like LAG's definitely they're going through the motions now, right? Like I feel like at this point they're kind of just chalking it up. I'm sure they're still going hard in matches, but even just skimming through this first map, Seattle, they just kind of ran away with this one. This one wasn't even close. They chained a couple hills early. P4s and the P5s, like Ben said, definitely hurt them. And they were able to close it out. They hold them to about 100-point lead. So fantastic plays coming out of Seattle. Take a look at the final scoreboard here. 31-19 from Dante. He's been playing really good, bro. He played good yesterday as well. Yeah. So if Sid could continue to shoot like that, it's looking good for them. But gentlemen, any thoughts on a map 1?
Nope.
Alrighty, then we get into the map 2, get into a fortress search. This one was actually interesting because Seattle ended up making a little bit of a comeback on this one. First couple rounds, first round Seattle, they actually rushed a little 8 plant here, and LAG worked the retake here. Let's see how they break this down. So LAG, they end up pushing through street here, which I like to play. Like that they kind of overwhelm Lamar back here and single him out. Because as soon as they push him and he goes down, they got all the numbers here. They work the trades. If Lamar was able to get one, maybe doable. But now Mac is by himself. 4v1 situation. Good retake from the LAG to start the round off. Then we get into the next one. LAG, they're going to rush right to the A-bomb plant. They're going to get it down. And they're going to do the same setup that Seattle did. But Seattle, they try to break through front. And LAG, they work the trades. They're able to hold on. They go up 2-0. So it's looking pretty good for them early on. I think this is a round where Seattle was able to get a dub. They rush A, the rush A plant on Fortress. We've seen it a lot. But, Ben, we actually got some different looks as we go on through the rest of this map. A few of these guys were going B a couple of these rounds. I have a feeling we might start seeing more and more people as the year goes on, starting to switch things up. But what were you guys' thoughts on the S&D? Seattle was able to make a nice little comeback here and win like 4 or 5 straight. So I'll go over some of those rounds. But what were you guys' thoughts? Seattle looked good.
I mean, it plays like a lot of other fortresses we've seen. Just a lot of gambles. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get the timing in art, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. I want to go to the comeback. So let's go on over to the 4-1 round. This is where Seattle start to bring it back. And Lamar, he has a really big round here. Seattle end up pushing out A on the defense. Hey, Chris, I want to see more teams do this. Like countering A and just pushing it out, especially with how many times teams go there. I know it's not an easy counter to do, but Seattle executed it perfectly here.
Yeah, it just gets difficult because if a team like watches you cross through those double doors that usually get stunned open, I don't think they were stunned open that round. So it was just like a perfect blind counter.
Yeah.
Usually if a team sees you cross that line of sight, they prepare for you and they don't over challenge the back stairs. But I mean, it was just a well thought out blind counter. I mean, that's what this map is though, Tom. Like you're gonna have a lot of standard rounds where people play off the bomb cross and then like work stuff. Or you're going to have literally pure blind counters where people try to like stun nade, heavy push for map control, whether it's A side or top bottom art. But yeah, it was a really good blind counter out of Seattle for sure.
Yeah, and the next round, after a big 2-piece from Lamar, they go into the next round and they get a little rush plant onto A. They're able to work some kills on the site. They end up starting to bring this one back round by round. We get into the 4-3 round. This was a really quick round. Seattle, again, they actually hold the overextension here to B. It was Arcitys who tried to make a play and tried to get a pick over by that P1 side, but Seattle, they were reading it. It was good plays from them. They had to cross to A, so they were kind of just holding here. And then Mac, he picks up another one on the street, exceeds all by himself. We're tied up at 4. And then I love the play here from Seattle. They end up rushing over to this A bomb site. They get it down. And LAG, they try and break through street again, but Lamar, he adapted to the first time. He was able to hold the push a little bit and stay alive street, but he ends up getting taken down here in just a sec. He gets traded out. If he would have been able to get one more here, it would have been big, but it's a 2v3 situation. Mac, he's going to sit behind the stage. He ends up getting a kill here behind the stage. He snakes up. He gets one before he dies, and he ends up leaving AG in the 1v2 with 20 seconds left on the clock, and I love the way AG plays this. Just slow plays it, uses the time to his advantage. He's actually going to play through closed here. Chris, let me ask you something. If Assault is crouching there, can Pred not see him? I'm actually surprised that Assault was laying down like that.
In the fucking characters models, I'm not too sure. You just run the risk of
if he crouched defused right there, he would have been good. He would have.
Yeah, he probably would have been good in this situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you crouch, you run the risk of getting your headshot off from the top of the what is that thing called? Like the top of the bomb, the lip, I guess.
Yeah.
If you prone, you run the risk of your legs. So
yeah,
pick your poison, I guess.
Yeah, and then we get into the last and final round. I mean, Seattle, they just win round after round. Exceed, he's going to find the first blood, but it's actually LAG who rotate over to the B bomb site, but the problem is they plant for the backside of the bomb. Look at Sib on that mini-map. He was able to find Arcitys up top, and once he takes him down, that's like their main guy, right? Like that's the guy holding the power position. Once Dante gets that kill, it kind of opens it up for the Seattle Surge. So a really good fight by Sib to win there. And then obviously Joe, he makes it a 2v2, but check out the heads up play from Seattle. They realize where the bomb is planted. They flip the map. Mac, he's going to hop on, and I think Joe DeCease ran out of ammo there and just couldn't get Mac off the bomb quick enough. So Mac gets the ninja defuse to win the map number 2. Fantastic plays coming in from Seattle. Take a look at the final scoreboard. 10-6 from Mac, 8-6 from AG. They were doing their thing on the other side. Joe DeCease 10-7, but not enough as everybody else is negative. Any final thoughts on the map 2, folks? Any final thoughts at all as we head to the map 3?
No, I think after that map loss, it was looking like a hot 3-0. I had no faith in LG in the control.
Yeah,
I had faith in them in control. They've been looking good in this game mode. Granted, they haven't been able to win any series. Like this is the one mode where I'm like, oh, they're competitive. Like they
clutched up here.
Rounds. Yeah,
I mean they clutched up on the first round. So Seattle ends up getting beat pretty early off the rip. But take a look at this, Seattle. They stack A, Assault. The streak comes in. He's able to find 2. Then they get the trades on the point. And take a look at that. They were able to save this round with the streak there. That round was almost all over. But LAG, they hold on. Seattle obviously don't have a lot of lives left. And LAG was actually able to close this round out. So really big streak coming in from Assault right there. Big plays. And then we go over to the offense. LAG, they actually do a really good job capping beat pretty early. They played through mid. It was Arcitys who was able to find a kill onto somebody's radio. And then they end up just collapsing over to that B site. You can see they get one guy in the box, kind of like what OpTic does. But they had a guy pushed up, right? Like OpTic, we were talking about that, Chris, like skipping steps. LAG, they had a guy pushed up hot. It was Assault, and they get the kills, and then they all collapse on the stack, and we're able to get the B points. So I kind of like how they set that up. One box, one push forward. Chris, you're muted.
Right, they not only had the guy Shaq, but they also had the guy in bottom mid. You remember how when we watched OpTic, they kept getting shot from that bottom keg door. They had everything covered. So it was a good setup out of LAG for sure.
Yeah, really good setup. They get the B point right away. And obviously, they're able to collapse on the A point. That's the easier point to get. They tie it up at 1. And this is where things get interesting. We go over to the offense for Seattle Surge, and they were somehow able to get this beat point. I know, Ben, you were talking about Exceed. You didn't really like the play that Exceed made here. You felt like he should have played his life more here. Can you expand on that, Ben J?
Is this around where he pushes
jumped
up
out.
to get all these kills?
He jumped out a back door, and then he dies, and in Seattle, they end up collapsing on a point here. I thought it was a bad play from Exceed as well. I feel like he should just hold.
I think he needs to stay alive and kind of give time for his team to reinforce because they're getting the deep spawns. He's put pressure on the box, but he threw his life away, and then it's kind of chalked.
I will say that being top green, although you can't see the entire point, the best part about being top green is not only are you blocking the close spawn, if they get behind the box, which is probably the most annoying place a player can sit behind when capping that B point, you have a clear line of sight to them. So you're basically just denying the best spot to cap the point by sitting in green and blocking the spawn. So yeah, throwing your life away up there is not ideal at all.
Yep, and then we go over to the next round, and obviously Seattle, they are on the defensive now, the defensive side. LAG, they do a good job again getting that B point. They just keep putting so much pressure on it. They just worked some trades and got the kills, and they were able to get the stack and cap it. But Seattle, they were able to hold on to this 8 point. They got a guy top radio, and they just kind of stay pushed out. They play a lot of corners mid. Mac did a good job picking up the flank, but Seattle, they let the play come to them. They stayed patient this whole round, and LAG are unable to get onto this 8 point. I just feel like LAG, they need to work like mid-map more. I feel like they were focusing like radio too much instead of just focusing like just getting on a point, staying down, and forcing Seattle out of their spots. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys agree with me on that.
No, I agree. I think you need one person that's kind of just keeping the guy top tower like honest. Like you kind of just like he like plays your side by the shack and like uses that to like line of sight him.
Yeah.
That way, whenever like your teammates do get on the point, you kind of make them tweak, and then like maybe you have a chance to shoot them on the side. But you know, you got to work through these bottom mid doors. You got to break the doors open. If you break the doors open, you're prone in the doorway, and they can't see you. So
yeah, even right here, like Assault could have prone to you. Could have opened up that door and then laid down and just contested. And he's also got his team like across from him that's about to come in and help him. You know.
Yeah.
But instead, he kind of jumps out. He dies from radio. Now Lamar's still up here. Mac's able to reinforce, and Seattle are able to push this to an overtime. So I'd like
what are
to
you
see
thinking if you're Assault right now going into this OT?
You got to be losing composure because Pat, he was insane. Assault was literally hard carrying these guys. Yeah, dude, I don't know what was going on. He was finding a lot of pieces. Assault has honestly been pretty good for these guys. He's been good for LAG. He's been doing his thing.
I had to fact check the chat because I said that Assault had a top 10 KD. I know KDs and everything, but top 10 KD. That means at least he's shooting back this stage, and people were like, "What? He has a 0.8." I'm like, "Nope, he has a 1.12."
Check him.
We said it before. I think Assault has been their most consistent player lately, and they just need more production than everybody else. Obviously, these guys probably all lost full, but
yeah.
I kind of feel bad for the guy.
This was a scenario where LAG probably should have capped this B point. They got 3 guys on it. AG ends up getting a really nice kill onto Exceed here. I don't know why Exceed, he has a sub there. I don't know why he's playing that back corner with a sub. He probably should have got behind the box or something. But then Lamar finds 2. And Alec, he's all by himself. He goes down, and once LAG, they fail on capping that B point. AG does a really good job here rotating over. Look how fast he rotates over, number 8. He knows where they're spawning, and he knows they're going to hit A. He runs right through the middle of the map and cuts them off instantly. Good awareness from AG to stop them from getting to that 8 point, or to delay to push a little bit for Mac to come in and pop a big 2-piece here. Fantastic plays coming out of Mac and AG in Seattle. We're able to hold on the defense as AG gets the trade, and they were able to win the defense. Actually, no, they got B. LAG did get B at the last second, but Seattle do hold on. It was LAG that were losing their lives, and they just couldn't get this 8 point. They didn't have enough time. If they were able to get that B point earlier, I think maybe they would have had a better chance of getting A, but they just wasted too much time and drained too many lives. It was a good place from Seattle to stay patient.
They did it again, though. You remember how, like you said, Assault should have like proned at the doorway? Like Exceed was in the same spot where he should have probably proned at the doorway. Joe Thieves is coming up behind him through couches right now. Look at number 4. He's coming up, and instead he just runs down to this box and dies when number 4 is coming to help him.
Yeah.
Like,
They don't buy time for each other. They keep over-chowing, and they're not working together. If they could just get a contest in there for a few seconds,
maybe they have a chance. It's still looking grim, but yeah.
Definitely still looking grim. Quick 3-0. We'll take a look at the final scoreboard. 33 and 28 from Pred. Fantastic plays at him on the other side of Salt. Obviously a really good map, but yeah, they ended up getting smoked in this one to get 3-0'd. I mean, guys, any final thoughts on the series as a whole or on any of these teams? I mean, Pat, we'll start with you. Any thoughts?
I'm asleep, Tom. I'm asleep.
You passing out, Pat?
I'm getting to a point, Tom, where I just don't even enjoy these bottom 4 matches, or when the bottom 4 teams are playing. Aside from Vegas, I will agree Vegas is a little interesting now that they made their change and they're having some success. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. LAG is chalked. Feel bad for them. They're basically, their jobs are in jeopardy, right? With the situation with their organization this entire year, what's happened. But I will say, I mean, look, Seattle looked better. I'm not gonna say I'm impressed yet, Tom, because I'm gonna hold that for LAN. You know how I am. The online stages, like, you know, you never can get an accurate picture. But I'm waiting to see how Seattle does at LAN. I'm actually really excited for this Seattle FaZe matchup. I know you guys are gonna be like, yeah, Seattle's, you know, the counter, but we know FaZe is the got the record lead there. So I'm excited to see that matchup.
Yeah, Ben, any thoughts?
I mean, I think this LAG team, they got to dig deep, man. Like it is what it is now. They got to find a way to at least end this year on some kind of high, whether it's getting a decent placing in this major or the other major. Like I agree with Pat. Like it's really tough with their future, and a lot of them probably feel like they're playing for their careers. But as a team, they got to find something and get some kind of momentum here.
Yeah, Chris, any final thoughts before we head into the next one? You're muted, Chris. You're muted, my guy. Can't hear you.
I gotta correct myself. That was only for today. Listen, breaking point. The way they tweet stuff, it's not.
Oh, by the way, I am leading in the breaking point predictions. I don't know if you guys caught that, but your boy's in first place.
Wait, hold on. So Chris.
So April 16th, not they fact checked me. Yeah.
Oh, that's not.
No way.
Hey, listen.
ZooMAFia, never wrong. Never wrong.
Okay, nah, it's cap. They're definitely wrong.
Sometimes. It depends.
Sometimes.
They all say different shit. But let's hop into the next series. Man, we got LA Thieves going up against the Minnesota Rokkr. We start things off at a Fortress Hardpoint. Then we go into an Embassy Search, Expo, Control, Hotel Hardpoint, Fortress S&D. Of course, this is another Do or Dash challenge. Another
this one pissed me off.
Why did this one piss you off, Slay?
Because look, I went out on the limb this major, Tom, and I selected Cammy in my fantasy, and I got no production. I got no production this stage, and that's holding me back. Because when you look at my other picks, Pred, great, Standy, amazing. Who else I have? Draza, great. But bro, Cammy's dragging me down on my fantasy.
No way, dude.
Are you number 1 yet? Are you number 1 there or no?
Nah, I'm gonna be probably top 8 because Cammy's dragging me down.
No way, dude. Well, let's hop into the first hard point. We start things off on Fortress. Thought at Minnesota, they had a really good hold on this P3. They were able to sniff Octane out. Octane tried to make the heads-up play by getting there early and trying to get some kills. But Minnesota do a really good job just holding the map instead of just all backing up. Like, they hold the map. They keep LA Thieves pinned. They're able to get a little bit of scrap time on that ult, but at the same time, they were able to get a rotation in the process as well. So they were able to set up pretty nicely here, especially when Fame, he was able to get pushed out and kind of delay their push a bit. But just like how aggressive Minnesota stayed on this hard point, right? Like staying pushed up, like not turtling. They just put LA Thieves in an absolute blender. So good job there. And then as we go into the P5, going into the P1, I thought this was a little bit of a troll here from Minnesota. They have LA Thieves right where they want them. They got him in a spawn trap, but the problem is they don't fill in the gaps properly. Like, they don't pick up all the lanes. You can kind of see, like, how it plays out. So it starts at number 3 and 4. Boom, that's 2 dead. Somebody needs to pick up this right side, like, quicker. Like, way quicker. Even if it's number 3, you know? Like, number 3 should go and pick it up real quick. Or number 2, like, somebody look at it. But look, they end up trying to back up. They don't cut it in time. And then Draza is able to get out. Then they're not even watching gate. Another guy gets out late. I just feel like Minnesota needs to.
This one's on Fame, bro. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Tom.
No, you're good.
He's running back. He's running backwards. I don't know if it's bad comms. He's running backwards, and then he doubles the same lane as Cammy. Like, he's just got to either come out and watch the cross or commit to running backwards and getting the top window. Like, I feel like in this situation, like if Cam's got the call to hit hill, Fame's got to be the one to make the play and watch the cross. I mean,
either them, 2 or 3, Fame or Cammy, they're both right next to it. One of them needs to get the crosshair. Like, they need to talk to each other, especially because the guy in Hill, he can watch his own push. Like, he can watch the left side from Hill, but he can't see the OE. Like, somebody needs to pick that up. And they don't do it. Like, they don't cut through the middle of the map. They had some dead, and Thieves were able to get out. So, a little bit of a misplay there, in my opinion, from Minnesota, because you can see what happens next. It's Draza who gets out. Look at that. Boom. Clean wipe. Now look at what happens to the spawns. Look what happens to Minnesota. Now they get flipped out because they didn't properly trap LA Thieves. So definitely thought that was a little bit of a misplay there for the Minnesota Rokkr. I mean, do you agree with that, Chris, right there, that they didn't really cut right there properly and pin him there?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they could have done a lot of things better this map. They end up came back on. And then LAT at the end just kind of runs away with it in a dramatic fashion.
Yeah, I mean, as we get into the third set, I mean, we can kind of fast forward it a little bit through here because it started going back and forth. They started trading rotations, and this one gets really mixy as we get towards the final moments of this game. And it starts on the third P1. I like the spawn trap here from LA Thieves. I like how they set it up. Again, it's just at the end of this P5, these Minnesota Rokkr guys, they gotta be careful with their lives because they end up getting flipped again. And you can kind of see how it happens. Like, number 4 got out, and I don't even know what happened. Did he jumped out? Bance jumped out of top art with 17 seconds left to P1. I do not like that play right there at all. Would you guys have stayed alive there and just played your life?
Yeah, he just needed to live on that side of the map.
He needs to live right there, man. He needs to live. He's the only guy there. Definitely think Bance right there. A little bit of a troll from Benjamin Bance. He should just stay alive here and let help his teammates off spawn, because the minute he dies, the spawns flip. And LA Thieves, they work a really good spawn trap here. They end up pinning Minnesota Rokkr back, and Octane just goes to town. Octane gets set up. Kenny gets pushed up into maps. Kenny starts popping pieces. It was a really good spawn trap from LA Thieves as they were able to bring this one back.
Tom, I got some words.
Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
So I got 2 things. I'm gonna start with the first. LAT are 4-0 against the Rokkr and 12-0 map count.
Yep. No, not a single map win.
It's embarrassing. This franchise has the Rokkr in a chokehold.
Damn.
Now, second, after we address that, I do have to call another thing out. The Minnesota Rokkr are fraudulent.
Damn.
They're fraudulent, Tom, because the only 2 teams that they beat when they did that little, the little homestand, they got those 2 wins. Those guys went a combined 0-10 after that.
yeah.
Damn.
They're fraudulent, Tom.
That's not good, Slay. That's not good, Pat. That's just not good there.
They got some fraudulent wins, and they're a fraudulent team. And I want attach back now.
You want him back, Pat? You want him back
Like
in
right
now?
now? Right now? Or...
Right now.
I mean, I love Dylan, but
Before the major.
I don't think Dylan for Fame is solving the core issue of this team, which is inconsistent decision-making out of Afro. Like, he's in a great aggressive side, but he goes the wrong way, doubles lanes when he doesn't need to.
I told you guys that at the beginning of the year.
Before you guys go on.
There's more to it, though, which is we've seen inconsistent results from Vance and Cammy all season. Like, there's
Octane saved the game here.
Yeah, Dylan coming in for Fame, sure, but like, it's not fixing
I
the
don't
core
care
issues of the team.
who Dill comes in for. I want attach back now, before the major, Ben.
What
is that? What is that fixing though? What is like? This is not a one-chain situation.
Wait, and this it takes some fraudulence away.
No.
Wait, and hold on. You want to hear this is the thing that I find insane, and I'm not saying it because he can't do it. Fame was running a fucking sub in challengers, and they subbed him in running an AR.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was confused when they picked up Fame because he was a sub player.
I mean, listen, I'll go out on the limb because y'all want to do it. Like, I love Brian and Dan, but if they can't turn this team around, I don't see them being with this org next season. Like, that's just where it's at. Vegas has now leaped them in the 8th spot. They're sitting in 9th. They now need to catch up. If they don't make champs back-to-back years, they're gonna blow this whole thing up, I assume.
What a map from Kenny, too. 38 and 26 with 4,200 damage. This guy Kenny was all over the map. And Octane with a big 3-piece at the end of the P2 right there. It ends up saving the game for LA Thieves. So LA Thieves end up clutching up. That was the map that Minnesota probably could have won to get rid of that donut that they got, Pat. But they end up throwing that one away. So Minnesota Rokkr, they follow one. Any final thoughts on a map 1, guys?
Take us to the map 3 final seconds.
I mean, bro, we'll skip through the map 2 because this was quick. Take a look at the first round. First of all, this was a 6-1 final. iLLeY Thieves breeze to the S&D. First round, nobody's watching window. Kenny walks right through the window, finds 2. I don't know what they're looking at. Kenny, he was able to get a free 2-piece here, and that opens up the A bomb site. They rotate back to A. It's a quick round for the iLLeY Thieves. Then we get into the next round, and it's Kenny again. It's Afro who finds the first blood, but look at how Minnesota play this. They just run out of P2. They just run out. No guns up, no nothing. Nobody looking over each other. They just run out. They get mowed down by Kenny again. Kenny hitting the form of his life right now. Comes off with a 38 bomb, 4,200 damage, and he starts off absolutely piecing in a search and destroy. Another 2-piece from him. And then as we go into the next round, it's Kenny again, man. Take a look at that number 7. He's able to find one after his teammate Envoy goes down on a cross, and he gets the bomb down. iLLeY Thieves, they're able to play a post-plant situation here, and I love the pickup from Draza as well. You see Bands trying to come around the flank. Draza not buying it. He takes him down. It's a quick offense. iLLeY Thieves, they're up 3-0. And then as we go into the next round, the defense was quick, man. Minnesota, they finally got a hold. Sorry, the 3-0 round, iLLeY Thieves. It was so fast, I skipped over it somehow. But iLLeY Thieves, they win on the defense. It was a very, very quick round. You kind of see how they were able to do it. Yeah. They rush out of orange. They get the trades, and look at the kill feed. It's all white within the first 10 seconds. Everybody's down. Cammy's last one up. Take it easy. Take care. Brush your hair. He's gone. Just like that. This was the only round the Minnesota Rokkr was able to win. They just slow play on a defense. Didn't really like the spot there from Fame with a sub. Feel like you're going to play there. You need an AR. It was kind of a long-range gunfight there. But Minnesota, at least they get one round on the board. But that was the only round that they got. As we go over to the next round, it was actually Sam who finds a sniper. Little snipe shot. They don't show it. They switch off of him. He gets the first blood. 4v2. Minnesota, they look completely lost in the S&D. They couldn't get anything going. And then, of course, the final round, Kenny making plays once again. Led the plays from Envoy as well. He gets across. Kenny didn't get that bomb down right away. Envoy's going to find one. Afro with one. Envoy gets the trade. Good shots there. That's 2 in a round from him. Now it's a 2v2 situation. Minnesota. I don't like the play here from Fame because I feel like he's playing behind AC. Once he backs down Draza here, he needs to just stay atop AC and look over him, man. He's halfway through the bomb. This guy now is useless. Once you make this guy one shot up here, he's useless. Unless Draza reach house. But he gets out of there, and Kenny just walks out of orange and shoots him off the bomb. Fame jumped off the top AC, so definitely didn't like that play there from Fame. I think he should have stayed up there and kept looking over, but it was looking pretty slim anyway. Take a look at the final scoreboard. 9-3 from Kenny. He's popping off. 8-2 from Draz. 5-2 from Octane. 2-5 from Envoy. He didn't have to do much. iLLeY Thieves, they go up 2-0. Any final thoughts on the map 2, guys?
I'm just... Who do you think is the worst statistical team in S&D this year?
I mean, I'm guessing the Minnesota Rokkr.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I just don't. The hard point struggles with them. When we talked about it for 4 years with this org, but like I just this collection of players and how good Bant and Cammy were, their tenure in Toronto and S&D, when they were with Dylan, we know Dylan's a good search player. London S&D actually wasn't particularly too bad last season. Like I just don't know how this team just can't figure it out. Minnesota, it's been like this all season.
Minnesota also chalked B going into the Expo Control. Look, they just chalk it off the rip. One guy's playing A. I think 2 guys tried pushing it, but it wasn't really a good push, man. They didn't wait for number 2 to come, and then Fame, he's by himself. He's kind of left in this position where it's like, does he push? Does he not push? They lose B really fast here. This Control was a 3-0 sweep. iLLeY Thieves just put the nail in the coffin. This one was all over. I mean, guys, I'll skim through it, but any final thoughts on the series? This was another quick one, another DoorDash
Somebody
challenge.
Trade Octane, bro.
Nah, they just weren't getting kills, bro. They couldn't kill him.
Trade him.
Go ahead, Ben.
The Rokkr situation is like I just don't. I'm very curious to see if they do anything in the next couple of days because it seems like they're back to square one where they were like 3 weeks ago. They don't have standout game mode. They don't have standout maps anymore. Someone in the chat said pay up for Rambo Ray. That might be a potential solution for them down the road. They have other players on their academy team they can maybe call up. They got to figure it out, man, because Vegas is in a good position in their 15, 20 points here, and like Rokkr's going to have something special online next stage to try and have a really good chance at the Major 5 to try and qualify for champs.
Yep, agreed. As we head into the Expo Control, you already saw like these. They won the first round. Second round, they end up holding this 8-point the whole entire time. Kenny heard the guys push under him, but he decided to play a corner here. I don't know if he was looking for one. Maybe he thought one was late playing. But they all just kind of run by him, and then he tries to chase and he dies. But this is a good opportunity for Minnesota. I didn't like that they got a kill there, and then they both played spawn kills here on the cross. I would have liked if somebody got on the hill a little bit more and kind of played with Afro there. But they kind of let Afro to dry there, and then you see the kills come in. LA Thieves, what do? They set it up, man. They set up that spawn trap. They push out that bottom left-hand side of the map. They funnel the Minnesota Rokkr into that back right, that top left area. And they were able to close this one out. Minnesota Rokkr weren't able to get near the point. And then we head to the third and final round, and this is where LA Thieves, they win another offense. They cap B instantly. That's the easier point to get. And we could kind of see how they were able to cap this 8-point, but it starts with a streak from Octane. Streak comes down. They get the information. He gets one with the streak. I love the play from Kenny to push through top glass and find a kill. He flanks on in, and then he finds another one. It's a big 2-piece. And as soon as they get the wipe, what do? The stacks are in. Stack or starve. Draza ends up playing through the front. I like that he was Eagle Chow in the front of this hill because it just kind of slows Minnesota Rokkr down a little bit. And obviously, LA Thieves were able to close this one out. Kenny with a big 2-piece. Envoy, he kind of gets smoked there, but they got 2 ticks on the board. All LA Thieves need to do now is just get one more wave, and that's what they did. They get one more wave playing through mid. Ben, I know you were talking about that a little bit yesterday, about playing more through mid on Expo when breaking this B point, and LA Thieves did a really good job doing that. So, fantastic plays coming out of LA Thieves. We'll take a look at the final scoreboard. I mean, Pat, we'll go with you. I mean, what are your initial thoughts? After recap of the series? Where's your head at? What's going on with Rokkr? And what are your thoughts on Thieves? I think the Thieves look pretty good. They went 4-1 online, which I think is impressive for Thieves. They're usually not the best online team.
I agree. I got these guys in my contenders, Tom. I know we talked about it a little bit. I mentioned like I have 4 teams that are split like 25, 25, 25. I'm bumping Thieves up. I think I got them at like a 33% chance right now to win the major. I think they look good. I'm excited to see how they do on LAN. As for the Rokkr, man, they're donezo, Tom. They're donezo. I actually think they're gonna go to Columbus. They're gonna get smoked round 1. They're gonna be out, and I think we're gonna see Vegas pass them in the standings for points for COD Champs qualification.
They already have.
The 8th spot. Oh, they
already
did?
have. Yeah.
Is that yesterday when they won? They passed them.
No, they're like tied, but they're technically ahead, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
that's
You know what I
tiebreaker,
mean.
yeah.
You know what I mean. They're gonna pass them. That's what I meant. They're gonna like get 8th, and they're gonna pass them up, and they're gonna put Rokkr down to the 9th spot.
Listen, hear me out. I don't know if this is even possible. I saw a tweet that version 1 or whatever, like the parent organization of Rokkr is like looking to partner with like another organization. So I don't know what their financial situation is looking like, but I can't imagine that them partnering or wanting to look for a partner is a good thing. So I don't know if this is even possible. Listen, bro. I don't know if that's a thing. However, let me get to the actual point. I think they need to go for Reese. I think they need Vivid because Afro is desperately looking for another hyper aggressive SMG duo, and I think Afro and Vivid. Okay, hold on, wait. Afro and Vivid could be like his like Nero counterpart like he had on Boston. And then as for Dylan, I don't know if they put him back in with that roster back on the AR or if they I guess keep Cammy, but hey, I think Vivid could actually help this team in a couple ways. Just my
Ben, you want to take this one?
All right, so let me address the org thing real quick. Because it's not an LG situation. So I think what V1, and I read the interview that Brett did. I think V1's got bigger aspirations beyond CDL, but what they're running into was, they're just not a big enough forward for, getting a spot in the Riot franchising, getting access to a CSGO team. I'm sure they want to get into other scenes, and just the upstart costs are high. It's hard to get talent. So I think what they're looking for is to find a really good opportunity to become either a minority or majority stake in one of these more T1, T2 orgs that are definitely struggling with the current economic climate. Bring in the Wolfpack money that they have, the Minnesota Vikings owner, and bring in some more endemic esports stuff. I think that's
that also goes with what I'm saying, where if it's like, I don't know if it's even viable, because I don't know if they're trying to waste money on acquiring another player that potentially has a buyout that they might not even be able to make a trade for. So regardless if that's the case, my statement still stands, whether you agree with that statement or not.
I mean, I agree with Reese would help. I just, nothing on this team makes sense right now. It's not bringing in Fame for Dylan's not solving your core issues. They need a major rethink on all levels, and they're running out of time to do it.
Pat, you agree with that? You agree with that, Pat?
I just don't. I don't think. No, I don't know. I don't think. I still have an issue with Afro. Like, I don't think like Afro getting a faster player is gonna help.
You might have issues with Afro, but his upside compared to the upside of everybody else on this roster is higher. Yeah, he's not perfect.
What I'm saying is, like, adding another hyper-aggressive player like Vivid, like, it's just gonna, in my opinion, double down on the issue. Like,
I mean, listen,
these
not
guys
necessarily
don't play right.
Not necessarily, but still, pacing and playing incorrectly is better than no pacing and playing incorrectly. You're doubling down on the attributes of a bad team. Like,
okay, let me rephrase.
Terrible teams in COD can't do either of them right.
I'm okay with Afro staying on the team. I'm not saying like that. I'm saying like.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think a Vivid coming in is going to fix this team by any means.
The fuck is going to fix them?
But I think
I need all three gone. I need all three gone.
I think if they bring in, I don't think Fame's playing bad, but I think if they bring in Reese, they need to rethink how they want to play Respawn. You got to look to OpTic as a model of how do we model our system.
They don't have shooters like OpTic though.
But if they get Reese and Afro, are going to hit levels,
bro. But then they're just going to be flipping spawns when they're on. Like, bro,
it's better than now where they. When they're fucking hardpoint game now, like, you might as well try something else.
Reese is very hyper aggressive and he gets in a lot of engagements. Sure, there are times where he might not put up the best stats, but at least he's always in the fight and contributing.
He's impactful.
He's impactful. And then even then, his stats, I think the last stage where they played, or maybe it was just the major, were not bad at all. And then he got dropped and everyone was kind of surprised. Regardless, I don't know if they have the capital or if they want to spend the capital to get Reese off of that Boston roster this late in the season, with the potential of them not even making a return on him in terms of like, because if they're investing in him to get them to champs and they don't make champs, they're taking 2 L's. So I don't know if it's possible. We might just be, spitting here, but I think they need to go for Reese at the very least, because this is they just need a big dynamic change. One change, not enough. No.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens moving forward with the Minnesota Rokkr, but their struggles continue. We'll see if they can turn it around. But let's hop into the final series of the day. Another DoorDash challenge, 3-3-0s today. These matches went by quick, guys. It's the New York Subliners going up against the Boston Breach. We had a Hotel Hardpoint, Hotel S&D, Hotel Control, Embassy Hardpoint, iLLeY Search, 3 hotels in a row. What do you guys think about that?
Well,
go ahead, Chris.
I know that New York is pretty good at a hotel. They've been, it's been one of their bread and butter like maps and modes for a while. But also, I know this from the Academy team. When I played Boston Academy and Challengers, Beans and fucking Kremp love hotel, bro. Like, that was like the Boston Academy, like, they just loved hotel anything. So to see in the series, I'm not surprised.
I don't know if they like it anymore. I mean, they lost 3 hotels in a row.
They like, I'm gonna be honest, like, but the map 3 choke, that was a winnable map for them.
Yeah, we'll go over that.
They tossed it away. I don't mind the 3 hotel score up. It kind of fits both teams' map pools. Like, it is what it is. I just think my issue with Boston is they're just kind of stuck in neutral right now. I don't think there's really been the progression from this team, and they got a little bit more time to figure it out. But so far, I don't think the Kremp and Beans move have netted that much of a positive. And I think the next goal for this team, like, because we know they can at times be a top 3 or top 4 team, is being in a grand final. I don't really see the path right now with this squad.
I think Vivid was a big loss for these guys. I felt like he did a lot more for them than they think. I know he didn't have the best stats, bro, but I'm telling you, when you have a player who's really hyper-aggressive, somebody that you could bait, somebody that you could play around, somebody that's taking routes and making plays, it opens up gaps. It helps, regardless of what's being put on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're missing that impact, Kremp is a really good player. He's really talented. But Vivid was definitely a route taker, and he was really good at finding gaps and taking a risk. He was good at taking risk. He didn't care about his stats. And I think they lost some of that unselfishness. I think they lost some of it, and I think it's hurting them.
I agree. I don't know. This team's just weird for me because they just, dude, I need their coaching staff tweet. They find new ways to lose every time. Like, I think yesterday on the show, I was talking about how, like, Beans at times is just struggling, and today he plays good for the most part on a couple of the maps, and they still lose. So, like, I don't know. From the eye test, though, Kremp is fucking good.
He's good.
Like,
He's really good.
He's talented. They're just not putting it together and winning maps.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Well, to get into the first map a little bit, really good 4-piece from Kismet. Definitely wanted to highlight that one at the end of the P3 here. But as we kind of skimmed through, it was the P5 and P6 where Boston were able to get a really, really big hold here. They were able to get a lot of time. They rotate early. They kind of funnel the New York subliners into like this back jewel area of the map. To be honest, I felt like Hydra, he just started off really slow. I feel like once Paco got back to his usual bullshit, they started bringing this one back. You can see Boston, they were doing everything they could to hold these spawns. But let's tune into the listening with Boston Breach to see how the guys sound.
He's still back wall. Yeah, still there back wall. I spawned out. There's one get. I'm through my ship. I get got one court. Grab top. Nice. Grab top on back court. On the cylinders. Okay. Cylinders. One's I have an deep left. Yep. Yeah, got me. Back kitchen. In the corner. Okay. Yo, listen, buy time now. Why we push right? Yeah, play 2 minutes. Yeah, one's flashing. Yo, what's up? Back right, plant box. What's the kitchen? The box is time. Plant box. Top bed. I saw him middle. He's bed corner. Bed corner time. Let's see, deep box. Yo, back kitchen either. Okay. That's one.
All right, they definitely had a lot of energy in that one. They have about a 60-point lead here, but it's actually going to the second rotation where things really start to pick up. It was in the middle of the New York listening, but when it goes to the P3, to the P4, I thought Skies made an incredible play. So New York, they ended up rotating early to this P3. Skies, he was able to push out top plat. We'll tune into New York, but once it rotates over to that P4, I'm going to pause the listening so you guys can see the play Skies made.
Storage.
Spawn mid. They're getting dubs right now.
They're down dubs.
Every dubs.
The whole storage.
I have your mid right now.
Yeah, mid. I can help time if I need to. I'm holding down.
Couch on me. Storage on me. Couch is dead.
I have your mid. You're good. I have your mid still.
Yeah,
I'm helping time. Nice.
I'm going, I'm going lobby.
You push. I'm gonna go mid too, actually. There's 20 engine. Maybe bed.
Lobby right now.
It's right here from Caesar Skies. Look at this.
One, Nero.
One's bed spawn right now.
Nero, lobby, absolute dead. Take lobby, help me. Go to P4. Go to P4. Go. Help me at bed. Where's the bed?
I don't know. I heard him.
Go to lobby, bro.
T2 dead.
Alright, so I'm trying to long. Flash guy long. Try to go.
Alright. Nice. Top bed.
Watch out. I can't peek. I need a trophy.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute it there. But I mean, it was just great plays, bro. He gets there early. And instead of just over pushing, he just holds it. Like, he just holds the desk. And then once he gets the kills, he actually slams the last guy. And again, he just stays alive on his hard point. And he continues to spree until Wake takes him down. But that gets the New York subliners into the front of this hill.
Quick. You almost a little cool. Give credit to Caesar here. If you pause back, go to where he was proning, right, like towards the end of that. This is a little bit of an off angle. It might not look like anything crazy to like anyone that's like not really paying attention, but if he's like any other player is just gonna prone behind the dub, like on the like back side of it, or like maybe like stand up on the left side of it and like watch over. But him being prone here makes it so the guys that are going main, they can't see him. So they don't know if he's in any of the close corners because they can't actually see in the close corners. They have to overextend, or if he's playing this off angle. So he commits this one angle, and then the player's main can't see him and have to hesitate because they have to check not only the 2 corners, but this deep spot when they come in. Yeah. So he's actually playing a really smart spot where as long as he doesn't lose his like the gunfight that he's pre-aiming for, it like fucks over like Boston completely, like here.
That's a good spot. You can see the cross. He can hear anybody to his right.
And he's line of sighting his left completely. They can't see him at all.
Yep, it's a really, really good spot from Caesar Skies, and he finishes off this one with a pretty good stat line as well. See New York, they were actually able to close it out on this hard point. Boston, they just get pinned back in those back jewel, back sauna spawns, and this one's all she wrote. Love the play from Caesar Skies to hit that, get that rotation there. He opened things up for New York. 26 and 18 from Skies. 27 to 29 from Kismet, really putting that pressure on him. 3,000 damage, right? He's negative. He had a 0.8 on the series, but this is a perfect example, right? Kismet had a 0.79 overall in the series, but he was just making plays, bro. He's an impactful player. He had a lot of big pieces. Was really putting the pressure on him, was laying down that damage as well. But any final thoughts on the map 1, guys, as we head into the map 2?
No, I mean, New York pulled away at the end. Hydra started off slow, regained, like, solid start for New York.
I mean, Boston just blundered. They didn't rotate to P4, or they didn't rotate to P3. They got beat on rotation after losing that P3 hill as well to P4 by Skies. Like, they got to have some discipline.
Mm-hmm. And in this first round was an insane play from Beans. I love this. Beans is in a 1v2 situation. Bomb's gonna go down. They know where he is. Hydra's gonna try and get to the L disc, but he's gonna take him down. Now it's a 1v1. Kismet's sound horning Beans above him. So Beans, what does he do? He pops the dead silence, jumps over to the bomb, and diffuses it on Kismet. Uses the dead silence to his advantage. Kismet playing off his headset did not play out for him in that round. What did you guys think right there about a Beans play? I thought it was a really good play from Beans.
Yeah, what a play, man.
That was the scary part about these games is like if you play off sound and somebody can literally just pop Deddy and just run up to the bomb and just hope like that they didn't hear him like run up to it.
Yep, and then we get into the next round. It's Kremp who was able to make some plays here through the middle of the map after his teammate goes down, but Kismet was all over it. It's a 2v2 situation. Boston, they end up getting this bomb plant down, but you could kind of see what happens after this. Nero, he's going to push forward. He's going to get the trade onto Kismet. 1v1 situation. And Nero, he has no idea where Paco is. Paco's in the spawn. He ended up taking a route. And Nero, he ends up going down. I'm not too sure what Nero was doing right there, but big plays coming out of Paco as they're able to tie it up at 1. This is where New York really start to run it up, man. And it starts with Paco. He's going to run right through the A-bomb, and he's going to get aggro here. He ends up just full pushing this. He pops the dead silence, and he just makes a play. He goes rogue. Beans was able to find 1, but Nero, he tries to jump up. He goes down. And Paco, he continues to finesse up here. You can kind of see him staying alive there. P-Dog, he's playing the push through. The bomb's going to go down. Paco picks up another one mid-map. Love the aggression from Paco on that round. And then he does the same thing on the next round. New York, they go through it on the defense. You can see Paco, number 8 on the mini-map. He runs right through mid-arch when the bomb goes down. Or actually, he's not down yet. He just makes the play, goes through mid-arch, kills him off the bomb before the bomb goes down. So really good plays there. And then, of course, you see Kismet. He's slow playing. He was able to find 1 as well. And then Kismet, he dies here, but Paco, he ends up staying alive here on the double desk, and he ends up picking up another kill or 2 here. He picks up the guy mid, helps his teammates. Nero comes back to the bomb, and Hydra takes him down. Paco's just going absolutely off right now. He's making plays. And then we get into the next round. Big Wake almost had the 1v2 clutch here. Starts off with a B hit, New York. They make some noise, end up wrapping the bomb back. And Big Wake, he ends up being left in a 1v2 here as Nero, he ends up going down by this guy main desk. But I like the plays here from Caesar Skies. He almost gets picked here. You can see Wake, he gets the kill there. He sees Skies running. He jumps the corner, but not able to finish the kill onto Caesar Skies Bueno. Skies was out of there, bro. Good tries from Big Wake, but Skies, he plays the time, jumps the corner. And that's another big win there from Skies as they go up 1-4. And then we go into the next round. It's Boston who had to get a quick A-plant, but it's who is it? It's Kismet who takes the initial route. Nobody's watching the OE. I think number 3 turned. You saw Big Wake turn, but he got bad timing. He wasn't watching it the whole time. And Kismet, he gets through. He sneaks through. He finds 1 on the pinch. Once he finds the guy in the pinch, that pretty much opens up this site. They're gonna collapse on this guy D2, 3v2 situation. Nero, he actually ends up hitting some wall bangs here, but he wasn't able to get the wall bangs onto this second guy defusing. With a sub, I feel like it's hard to hit these shots, man. To hit these wall bangs, it's hard with a sub, but he was going for it. Didn't really like the post plant setup from Boston as they go down 1-5. And then, honestly, Boston just started running at him. Boston, they start bringing it back. They win a few rounds just kind of running. You can see this round, New York, they go B, but Boston with the swarm, they were able to work some trades here. Skies was actually able to find 2, so I thought they might have been able to win it here, but Kremp finds 1. Skies is left by himself. He has to reposition, and just like that, Skies, he's going to go down. Awakeny's going to take him out. Next round, I believe Boston, they do a straight-up mid-hit. They did this a couple times. I think at this point, they're just doing like the YOLO pushes, just seeing that they're down. They're just kind of going with the flow. And the trades come in. Kremp, he was able to find 2 couches there. get to the next round. Same thing, New York. They kind of slow play this round, New York, a little bit. Nero was actually the one who was able to get a kill because Hydra, he tries to make a play off the streak. He gets kind of pushed up into a good corner here, but Nero sniffs him out. It was a really good play from Nero. He kind of read the push off the streak. We've seen a lot of people do that, right? They call on the streak, everybody runs inside, and you try and get position on them while they're trying to run away from the streak. So fantastic plays there from Nero to pick that one up. But we'll go to the final round. This is where it was a straight up mid hit from both teams. Kind of see how it plays out. They all hit the middle of the map. Nero finds 2, but he gets traded out. Or actually, Kremp gets traded out. Nero's still playing his life. 2v2 situation. This one ends up going to a 1v1. It's Big Wake who's in a 1v2. He takes down 1 Couches. And it's just him and Caesar Skies Bueno. Skies, he ends up playing the 50-50. He goes to the A bomb site, shoots him off the bomb. It got close, but New York, they run away with it. Take a look at the final scoreboard. 10-9 from Nero, not enough. On the other side, 9-6 from Hydra, 9-5 from Skies. Everybody pulling away from New York. Any final thoughts on the map 2? Gentleman Pat, we'll start with you. Any thoughts on the map 2? Felt like New York was just running them, to be honest, until Boston just started doing dumb shit and it was working.
Doing dumb shit and
they just started running. They were down 1-5. They just started running that mid. It's just ego challenge, and it started working for him. But
I got a question. I think, Ben, you've said this before, and I've actually disagreed with you. But I am curious now, based on the conversation we had yesterday. What do we think about subbing in players for one map, for one game mode?
Like
I'm with it.
Ben's been talking about that. Don't say that. Ben's been talking about that for a minute.
I want Doug Sister Martin in for one map.
I would love Doug. I would love if Doug Sensen Martin hopped in for a map, bro.
You're telling me if he came in for an S&D, he's not dropping dub digis, maybe 4 or 5 bomb plants?
I mean, minimum 5 bomb plants. Minimum.
That's a minimum, right?
Minimum.
And maybe 6 if they're on offense for 6 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, unless they went 6-0, which I wouldn't doubt it.
That might be possible too.
Go ahead,
Listen,
Ben.
Tom knows I've been talking about this for a very long time, and I get ridiculed every time I bring it up. But as more years pass in the Call of Duty League, I'm just convinced that like eventually someone's going to try it because I think some of these teams could benefit. They have one weak game mode, and they could really benefit by bringing in an S&D specialist, especially.
And that is Doug Sensor Martin.
Yep, I agree, bro. This first round of Control was so weird. There were so many trades going down here in the last 8 seconds. Nero ends up team killing himself. He nades himself. Kremp finds one. Paco's on the pinch. He finds one. He gets traded out. Then Skies finds one. It's nonstop trades. 1v1. Big Wake tries to get on a point. And he can't get there in time. And obviously New York, they're able to clutch it up. This is actually all defense wins until the overtime, which I kind of want to skip to the overtime, to the end, because this is definitely a big troll from the Boston breach. We should take a look and see what the hell happened here. Because, Ben, I know the life advantage was insane. It was definitely in favor of Boston here. 11-3 life advantage. Boston should 100%. They should never lose this, ever. At any time. They should have pushed to map 4 here. But we'll take a look and see how it kind of breaks down, bro. They just kind of get picked one by one. Paco finds 1 kill in the spawn. And he plays his life. He kind of stays alive back there. Boston, they're going to come off spawn again. Skies, he's going to find 1 kill. P-Dog, he's going to push through mid. I don't know why nobody from Boston was looking mid, and that's a 4 clean dead. New York with 3 lives. We're able to get 5 straight kills and stack the point. What's going on with Boston here, Chris? What happened?
I mean, they just got bullied in the spawn by Hydra and whoever else was there, and then the fucking Kremp is left on the desk and he's just tweaking. And then Nero is just in bed hiding in a corner because they were all just pissing themselves.
Have we ever seen someone fry like this for an L? Beans broke the damage record in Control, tied the kill record in Control, and lost.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had him on the under too.
Jesus.
Yeah, I had Beans
after yesterday.
Yeah, he got smoked yesterday, so I was like, all right, bet. We'll go with the under, and then he just pops off 40 and 24. 40L for the loss.
I would have liked to see Kremp, who's on this desk, like try to get across bed like earlier. Like he was on this desk for a while. Maybe like play bed with Nero. At least they can maybe double up something, get some small talk going. Yeah. As for the people in spawn, can you go back? I want to see how how they ended up getting in that setup and like how they died. And I just want to go for a little bit further back. There's more people that died.
Yeah, so Big Wake gets a kill on Paco. Then Kremp gets a kill. Okay, 3v2. They're looking for one guy in the spawn. It's P-Dog. He finds
he just gets
one.
Bad timing. He gets traded.
This is just, it was P-Dog made the play here. That was a big kill from P-Dog there. Really big kill. And then that opens up the gap. Here comes Paco. Paco getting a kill and playing his life here is big as well. Not getting traded.
Number 1 backed up. Dude, Kremp backed up. Go back. Look at the fucking
he was in
map.
bed and backed up. Yeah.
He was, no, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was
Don't
in
like
bed.
you
He
running
backed up.
backwards.
Bro, you don't bump back. Like have him fill bed, have number 4 push out bed, flank mid map, cut off mid in that way. Like like
they're forcing. They're forcing
They're just
kills.
Scared, bro. They're just scared.
But why even try and play these kills in your spawn if you're spawning close on it? Just OE to bed. Just get bed. Fuck it. 11v3, get bed control, you're good.
I get why some of them stayed there and like the situation they were in, but like Kremp and Nero could have been way more dynamic. Nero got information that they were basically all overextending. Kremp could have gone in and filled bed. Nero could have pinched mid map, gone to like hot tub and been like a nuisance all around mid.
I mean, they could
just
have
like
done
basically
a lot there.
shooting in the back. And then the rest of this team, it did like
They could have done a lot there, to be honest.
they just fucking turtled, and the people in spawn got bullied.
They lost composure too. Beans and Kremp especially
Beans
were
gone
losing
through
full.
it,
They
dude.
were losing full. Beans has no idea what the hell happened. He just broke the record for kills and they lost. So yeah, Beans losing full. In New York, they were able to clutch it up. Just definitely some misplays from the Boston Breach at the end there. I'd rather them play their lives and wait for them to hop the point and just trade them out. But instead, just too many solo chows. They all die at the same time, and New York Subliners were able to clutch up. They win 3-0. Pat, any final thoughts on a series? Bossing at 3-0 today. DoorDash challenge once again.
DoorDash got a lot of Dash Pass subscribers today, Tom.
No way, bro.
They got a lot because they were just delivering so fast across the board.
Yeah, man. Their drivers were on point today, man. Their drivers were on point. But that was all she wrote, and just like that, that's going to do it for the matches today. 3 3-0s in a row. We're going to hop into some Reddit questions. I did drop a little post up on the Reddit during the last match, so we'll see if what kind of comments came in, and we'll answer some questions. We'll go to the first question of the day from longjumping_plant97. Should the CDL go back to the Cold War group stage format where the top 2 teams choose the groups for the next qualifiers? This way we have even and fair match schedules for everyone. Pat, why don't you kick us off? What do you think? Should the CDL go back to the Cold War group stage format where the top 2 teams choose the groups? Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, you can take it.
Top 2 teams choose the groups for the next qualifier. Do you like that or no?
I think they should bring it back, but I think if you are not the top 2 seeds, the one rule change that I made from that year is you cannot if you pick a team, right, you place the other team in the other group in the previous major, you can't do it again in this one. What would happen during the Cold War year is like certain teams were avoiding each other and always picking another team so the groups are the same. That would prevent ideally us having like identical groups every single major. The teams are avoiding each other.
So if you picked, let's say you picked Vegas or whatever to be in your group, one split, next split you cannot pick them again.
Yeah, I would say the only exception is like the team that picks first, the team that picks second. But like I think that would be way better. I just don't like this unbalanced schedule thing. I think it's kind of whack. I know why they're doing it. They're trying to guarantee matchups throughout the season, key rivalries and stuff like that. But from like a competitive ops perspective, I feel like the group pick is better.
Yeah, I mean, Pat, do you agree with that?
Honestly, my kind of opinion right now is like anything to improve the current format, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really gonna change too much, but I think it's a change which can be looked at as improvement from where we're at right now.
Somebody said, Jazz like tomato. What does the flank think other than Hook playing unbelievable is making this OpTic team look so dominant? Do they enjoy the game more than others? Are they more accepting to their roles more than other teams? Because other teams have the same amount of talent, they just can't put it together like OpTic right now. I mean, I'll kick things off. I definitely think them enjoying the game helps. I've heard Brucey talk about it on stream, right? They just really enjoy playing this game. Like, they're having fun playing with each other. But the most important thing with this OpTic team is their pace. I mean, their decision-making is so quick. They are so good at hitting gaps, and they're not scared to hit the gaps, especially Hook and Shotzi. They are not scared to make a play. And I think adding Dan Gosey to the roster kind of brings some leadership, some communication. I feel like he definitely talks, because I know Hook and especially Shotzi, they kind of like to lock in and zone in. They're not really very vocal in listening, so I feel like Dan is being a good vocal leader for them in maps, and Dashy's just kind of filling in gaps, hopping hills, getting time, like doing what he does best, just getting kills. And
that leads me to my point.
Yeah,
it's Dashy, bro. The way that this guy has transformed as a player is crazy. I still remember him dating back to the beginning of his career when everyone didn't want to give him a chance because everyone thought he was a kill whore. He just would get kills, and he was fucking not objective-minded. He was basically useless. Look at the way he plays now. This guy is always around the objective. He doesn't give a fuck about running around getting cuts. He just does his job, and like and he's still so good that when he's in these useful positions, he just bails himself out before. He's just doing his job, and he's not doing anything extra that he thinks he needs to do.
I'm glad you said that, Chris, because I completely disagree with you. The question is, what does the flank think other than Hugh playing incredible, right? I guess you used unbelievable. It's the fact that, and I'm gonna say this, and I'll pose it as a question at first, and I'll let you guys go. Was Seth holding the team back?
No.
Nah, you're pulling what you did. It's what Octane. So you're pulling the Octane cheese.
Nah, it's not the Octane cheese. It's not the Octane cheese. It's a fair question. Because you're
asking the question. You're asking.
Yeah, I'm asking to you guys. Because Seth retired. He did his thing for many years. He retired. And then ever since then, the trajectory that Ben loves the word trajectory that OpTic's been on is just rocket ship.
What I think, Pat, is I don't think Seth is the problem, but I do think that two key moments for this team have happened over the last few months. I think the whole December, January situation, and then post Seth retirement, and then those first two matches at the last major. I think these guys saw the bottom of the abyss, and they've made the adjustments they need to make to not go there. I think they, as a team, understand that there are certain elements of the system or individual things that they need to work on. And sometimes those key wins and those key reflection moments kind of take people to different levels. So that's kind of my thought.
I disagree. I think if Scump was on a flex with Hook and Shotzi running the subs and Dashy on a main, that would have been an insane roster. That would have been nuts. I disagree. I feel like if they were trying Scump on a flex and he did his thing for like a series or two, he was fucking piecing. But the main thing for me is Hook and Shotzi. Hook and Shotzi are the main two right here, bro. They're the duo right now. They're the playmakers. They're the impact. They're the guys who are putting all the pressure on these pro teams. Every pro team that talks about it, they even say the amount of pressure that these guys put on the map is really annoying to play against. They're hitting form, bro. They're hitting really form. If you had Scump on a flex, might be they'll lack maybe some leadership, maybe some comms, because I think Dan Ghosty does bring a lot of intangibles there, but Scump can definitely slay on a flex. That would have been a good role for him.
I think we're asking about the wrong person who's not on the roster. Did them dropping Ender was maybe the right move? Do you think Ender was holding them back post injury or whatever happened last year?
Bro, yes.
They needed two really hyper. They needed somebody to back Ant up. He needed a duo. Ant needed a duo.
That's fair too, but they needed some direction and some discipline, bro. I don't give a fuck about having a duo. Like these guys, bro, their hardpoint game prior to having Dan on the roster was them just throwing shit away or like getting blown out. Even their comms when they first got Dan before they inevitably got better as a team. You remember how fucking hectic their comms were? These guys just were spinning in circles, just chowing shit. Now they actually sound like a composed team. They have direction. Whenever they get advantages, they're not constantly throwing them away. Of course, getting rid of iLLeY was a good move. Not saying that iLLeY's a bad player, but he wasn't helping them.
Speaking of iLLeY, we actually got a question from Demichia. Is iLLeY better off taking a Clayster route where he plays challengers to improve his stock for next year? Or should he wait it out on the bench or at the bench? OpTic has been 10-1 since replacing him with Ghosty. What do you guys think? I'm a little worried for Ender, bro. He's not playing the game. He's not playing. Especially,
he's not even tweeting. What happened to him?
I don't know.
He never really tweeted to begin with. He was never like a super like posting memes on Twitter type of guy. But I think to your point, Tom, like I do think he needs to play challengers because if I am a GM or a coach in one of these organizations going the offseason, I'm like, this guy got dropped from OpTic. He got no fire from it. Is he injured? Does he not want to play? Like there might be other grinder options over him, and he's just not. Stocks is not there.
Yeah.
iLLeY was good like towards the beginning of his career in terms of like actually like statistically playing well, but towards the later half of his career, he just hasn't played statistically well. He hasn't shown that he's like a crazy talented player, right? And that's the thing when it comes to teams now in the CDLs, when they're looking to make upgrades, they're looking for the next best thing, the next crack player. They're always looking for the next Abizi, Simps, whatever, Scrappies, blah, blah, blah. iLLeY needs to go down to challengers and bully people. Because if he's not doing that, I don't know if he has necessarily the connections or the personality that people are going to like look at him like when making a team at the start of the year. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like.
Listen,
I agree.
I'm gonna call it now. I don't think iLLeY's coming back.
You don't
And
think
the
so?
reason I say that is because he got his hands on X Defiant and he's absolutely loving it.
Is he?
And I
Is he
just
actually
don't
playing
think
it?
he's
this
gonna
true?
be making a return.
Is this true or is this
true?
cap? He's not playing
He's
X
go-
Defiant. He's not playing X Defiant.
iLLeY's gonna be our first pro
He's
player
not playing.
on X Defiant.
Is this
No
true?
way,
Are you
bro.
capping?
He's capping, Ben. Of course he's capping. First
But,
pro player. What
but-
are you guys building a league over there? That's pretty cool.
Also,
I'm just saying.
the reason I say he needs to go and bully challengers people is because I just feel like even
needs
if
to
he
play
doesn't in the
challenges.
league next year, is like he's just going to end up on a shitty team.
Yeah, he needs.
And then
he
his
needs to play.
stock's going to get further driven to the ground, and then his career is just going to be fucked.
Yeah, he's not a career. Listen, let's be straight up. iLLeY. iLLeY is a good piece for a good team when he's surrounded by good players. He's like a career 0.95, 0.97 type of player. In his best days was a key IGL. He's a great gap filler, and he's won a big chip on that Empire team. But I agree. You put him on like a Florida or London type roster, and it's not going to be pretty. And people in the chat are saying, "Well, Ant was streaming the other day, and he was playing Hydro Hardpoint. Cool. Like hubs are not what GMs and coaches are looking for when they're building rosters next year. He's got to be playing challengers. He's got to be playing wagers. He's got to show something that he's actually trying to grind the game and get better. Otherwise, just other people in challengers, like people want to take flyers of a player like Abuza, like more unknown type players are going to get chosen over him on people's short list.
And on top of that, man, like it's like I know it's not the end all be all, but when you get dropped from your team and they go on and start looking like a dominant roster, unless you go out and prove yourself somewhere, it does not look good. For example, if Ultra were to like let's say they won that tournament and Ultra would have kept on playing well in the league, and Standy would have never got that chance on Vegas, and let's say Standy was still playing challengers, it would not have looked good at all for Standy. Because when the team gets rid of you and they just all of a sudden elevate, what is that? What does that say about you as like a player, right? To everybody else. So it's the same thing with iLLeY. It's the same thing right now. He needs to find a place where he can prove himself, or if he ends up on a team next year that is not good in the first place, Godspeed.
Listen, the last thing on this is if I'm in there to make this more a PR thing, he's got to go out there and say something. This like occasional tweeting and Instagram posts and like posting people's chat, like just go out and say like whether you're taking a break or you're going to be grinding Chals until next season starts. You want to get a team, like say something and take control of the narrative. Because right now we're sitting here speculating and he hasn't said anything.
I feel
but no one knows what's going on.
I feel bad for him, and we might not all know what's going on.
I feel bad for him too.
But at the same time, I think it's got to be his hand. It's got to be one of those things where he's not going to go out and openly tweet that his hand is fucked, because then nobody's going to want him. And the reason why he might not be playing, sure, the game's not in a good state. Sure, there might not be things to grind. Maybe he's using that as a way to take a break. And maybe get his hand or his thumb in a better place. But, bro, it does not look good. You have an injury and then you stop playing, and you don't say anything.
It's crazy how people talk about injuries now too, bro. When I tweeted in AW about my injury, people didn't even give a fuck. Like people didn't even talk about it. Like I drop a 0.8 after 4 days out of surgery, and people just be like, "Yo, what's good with ZooMaa? This guy's fucking what's going on with this guy?" Like back in the day, like people didn't really care. Like people didn't really talk about it. Now it's like, bro, injuries are a serious thing. Like people are starting to realize like how serious injuries can be, bro. There's a lot of wear and tear with these players, man. They play hours and hours and hours every day. Every single day. Like his hand, I don't want to go out on a limb and say that his hand is fucked up, because like his hand could be. I thought his hand was good on when he came back, but I have no idea. Like I literally
that's what
have
I'm
no
saying.
clue.
It's like his hand is either still fucked and he doesn't want to say anything, and that's why he's not playing, or he's just genuinely taking a break because he doesn't feel like there's a reason to play, and he's confident that he's going to get on a team next year. Either way, I think we've covered all the bases with this. We could probably move forward. Godspeed to him, and I hope that he finds a team or success next year.
Yeah, we got a question from Ronnie. When is it time for Rokkr to change up the coaching staff? It's been 4 years now, and they still suck at hardpoint no matter the roster. They also seem pretty bad at building rosters. Just look at the Cold War one. For example, to start the year, they had Accuracy, Priesta, Attach, and Major. 3 of them players are now main ARs. The other is a flex, LOL. I agree, bro. The way they build their rosters makes no sense. You always want to add pace to the roster. I always like to start from the subs up, personally, when building a roster. But what do you guys think, man? You think it's time for a little change in the coaching staff or what?
Yeah, look, Ronnie, I think you hit the nail on the head. Listen, it has been time, like, I would say the best time for them to make a change would have been about 2 years ago. They need to blow it up top to bottom. I know they just came out. They made a little announcement saying they switched, switched Dan and Brian Saint around a little bit in terms of who's what. I don't care about that. Look, they need a change. They've done, in my opinion, with the amount of money they've had, which Ben, you can back me up, with the amount of money they've spent, with the amount of the rosters, the talent, everything, they haven't done anything impressive to me. They could do a lot more for not only the entire state of Minnesota, but all the Rokkr fans who definitely show up to all of their activations. And I think they're doing a horrible job personally at everything they're doing, both in game and out of game.
I mean, I'm gonna
on the team side. I think the org is great.
Someone said it earlier, bro. Like, Raze is sitting there on the OpTic bench. Like, you really don't want to qualify for champs the second year in a row. You see this in European football. Bring someone in to escape relegation. They might need to do the same thing and just make the change now and not wait.
To be honest, yeah, I think the coaching staff has probably not done a good job of formulating a winning culture. But at the end of the day, like, their team building just sucks. We said it going into the year. There was people that were gassing this fucking roster when it was a worse version of the Toronto Ultra that struggled that last year in Vanguard.
Yeah, so, I mean, I will say that I think their roster for this year looked a little better than this one with Accuracy, P-Dog, and Attach and Major. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with that roster. Too many ARs. Yeah,
of course. I mean, maybe from like an objective standpoint, the roles made sense, but
man, Pat, you're never wrong, bro. You're just early. You know what I mean?
Listen, I mean, I'm on the show, guys. I try to share the best information that I have with you all. And Tom, I saw this coming from a mile out. It took a little while to orchestrate for everyone else to see it, but
of course.
But I mean, I was really I was spot on with this one, Tom. And it just took a little time for you guys to see, and that's fine. It happens.
It happens, Pat. Sometimes we're just not as smart as you. But let's hop into the next question. 707 Dan's coming in hot with a question. How much longer until LAG drops Arcitys for Diamond Con or another AM? As it's very obvious that Arcitys does not care anymore, while the other 3 are fighting to keep their stock up and stay in the league next year. Do you think Arcitys doesn't care anymore? Do you guys agree with that? I'm sure he cares. There's no way he doesn't care. I just think he's struggling. He's definitely struggling.
But his demeanor on socials and just in general, it's just like he's kind of just laughing off the whole situation. I'm not saying he should be super depressed and angry or anything like that, but I could see how that might look to other people is what I'm saying. I don't think they are in a position to really drop anyone. On top of that, Diamond, once again, would need like a work visa to play. So I don't know. I think this team is just kind of fucked until next year, and then they have to figure out their org situation and what the future looks like. I don't know.
I mean, Pat, what do you think? Ben, what do you guys think?
I thought we talked about it earlier, bro. I don't know if they can make a change. Like, they got rid of all their subs. Like, they have no one to rotate out. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do, man.
I get that. I get that his team is struggling, but I think every single player on that team, regardless if they haven't played well, they all have shown moments that they're pretty good. Like Joe has had like some pop-off series. I think Exceed had like a pop-off stage, and I think even Adam has had a couple good maps. Arcitys had that like crazy, record breaker or whatever the hell on Fortress, but ever since then, I think he's just lost absolute full composure. And
he's frustrated for sure.
He's obviously struggling because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely frustrated, and I think it's showing in his gameplay a little bit. I mean, just going through a rough time with the team, and obviously with the organization as a whole. It just seems like things are just not looking bright over there at the LA Gorillas. So
I wonder if it's related to anything out of game. Like, I mean, we've seen this with roster changes too. Like but I mean, there's been plenty of players that like something's happened out of game that kind of affects their in game. I think it's kind of all tied together. So I am curious. Obviously, don't know Alec on personal level like that, but it's always something to consider. Because when you see players of that caliber of what we've seen in the past, like, and people are doubting whether they care or not, it's usually related to out of game circumstances.
I'm actually curious if this team. Listen, I don't know what they're doing. Obviously, I don't know how mentally checked this entire roster is. Are these guys watching VOD? Are they like sitting back after losses and like wondering how they could get better? Are they trying to improve outside of just their regular scrim schedule? I obviously don't know, but I would like to know if that's even a thing they are trying to do. Because I don't know if they are. And if they're not doing that, then they are 100% checked. Like completely checked out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. LAG, obviously, things are not looking bright for them, but let's move on to the next question. Oliver McQuaid, would Vivid on a Rokkr for Bance be a good upgrade and bring Attach back for fame? I know a buyout would be invoked, but Vivid could be a great entry sub, allowing Afro to be more slaying SMG where he thrives. We talked about this a little bit.
Is this Chris on a burner?
Might be Chris on a burner, man. Might be Chris on a burner.
From Ireland.
But yeah, I think anything that you do right now to the Minnesota Rokkr would be good, just because I feel like they're still struggling. Like they still don't look like the only time they looked pretty good is the first day, the first day they teamed with Fame, and they went 2-0, and it was at their home series on.
And they played two teams that didn't get a win the rest of the stage.
They played,
so it's not like
they played two teams that have been
beat
struggling.
like great teams. Like they're stuck, man. They're really stuck.
Where do you have Vegas placing for Major 4, and what is this team's ceiling?
Well, why don't you pull up the bracket, Tom? If you
already got it, Benjay. It's right here.
And why don't we use that to talk about this?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think for Vegas right now, the standing move has worked out really well for them. I think they're a solid hardpoint team. Control, I still got questions. S&D looks good. They have a very good round 1 matchup against New York, a team that I don't think is particularly better than them in search. A team they could theoretically, if they get Hotel out of there, take a couple of take a hard point or so. Control not gonna look that great against New York, but I could see Vegas grind this out of 5, and then you just never know from there. I think top 6, maybe top 4 is a possibility. I just still think that once they get to the top 6 frame, the round they're gonna have to play like a really good Seattle or FaZe type team, and that's probably where they're gonna kind of end up. But they're gonna get a number of points over Rokkr the split.
I don't see a world where they lose to Mutineers if they do lose to Subliners. I know Mutineers is kind of a little gritty team, and they've shown some improvement here or there, but just the form, the difference in form from both teams, because that's where they would drop, right? They would play Mutineers if they lose to New York.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. My worry is, although they have a good first match versus Subliners, because Subliners is one of those teams that hasn't looked particularly well the last couple majors, and they've shown some weakness. So if they're able to win that, great. That's a great W. It puts them in a good spot, especially, for champs in champs qualification. But if they beat Mutineers, which if they lose to Subliners, they would play, do I have faith in them beating like Ultra? Because I'm going to assume that Ultra probably would beat Breach here. Right, because I think OpTic's going to beat Breach with the way OpTic's been looking. I think Ultra are going to beat Breach unless Ultra just has had a full collapse. That's tough, bro. That's going to be a tough losers round 2 if they do end up losing to Subliners. I think this first match, Ben, for me, for Vegas, is everything.
Yeah.
If they win versus Subliners, I think they realistically can make a top 4. If they lose to Subliners, that fucking Ultra match again is going to be a grueler on LAN if they play him again.
I think the only problem, Chris, is don't they go to the bottom side? So the only problem is if they win, they flip the other side of the bracket, right? Then they would have to beat either Thieves, Seattle, FaZe, someone for top 4. I don't know if I see that. I think 6 is going to where they're going to.
I got Vegas top
that's
6.
True.
I got
That's true.
Vegas top 6 as well.
Yeah, I feel like top 6 is a good place to put them.
They flip, right?
Yeah, they flip, and they're going to have to beat.
That's the death bracket.
Those are teams that they're really going to struggle with against in Control. Teams that can definitely match them in search. And sure, you take one hard point, but you're losing 3-1. Like, going to be difficult.
Call me absolutely insane. I think they're better. The best chance they have at making a run is if they were to lose their first match. Because if they win that first match, they'll probably drop out to OpTic next round. Bracket flips. They're in the death side of the losers bracket, and then it gets hellish. But if they win that first match, or if they lose that first match, They play Muniers, which I think they beat. They play a Toronto Ultra roster that's kind of broken right now that they already beat, and then they can continue from there. I don't know. This is going to be tough, bro. I'm still a believer, though. I think at least they get top 6 at this major.
Let's keep it going. We got some more questions on Reddit, and then we'll go through the bracket. Before we go through the bracket, I do want to finish these questions out. Do you believe the FaZe trio would stick with Slasher after this season? And then also, what do you think fixes FaZe's hard point? I think with the whole Slasher thing, it's kind of still up in the air. We'll see how they finish out the season. You know, like we'll see how the season plays out. But I mean, if Slasher's struggles continue and they don't get the placings they want, then I could definitely see them making a change.
The placings they want, like first.
Yeah, they got to win, and that's the difficulty with it. They never made a midseason roster change, so the people calling for Austin's head this major and next major, like they'd have to get dead last. I think for them to even start contemplating that.
I said it in the last. Watch party or flight. I can't remember. I could see a world, man, on some crazy shit where Simp goes to an AR role, plays that like slower style AR with MC, right? And then they get like
AG
premium sub because like that we already know the question next year with like AG and the whole OpTic move. Is that even going to happen with the way OpTic look? What if OpTic win champs? You think they actually drop one of their players for an upgrade superstar
Always
here?
pack a punch.
But here's another.
I hear you, Pat. But if that realistically doesn't happen, if Pred is available,
always
and
pack a punch.
your FaZe, and you don't know if you want to keep Slasher,
always
I think I trust Simp. I think I trust Simp to switch to an AR and just get Pred and.
Bro, you always pack a punch, or you regret it later. Bro, if my option is going and continuing to shoot against Pred or drop, I'm dropping, bro. Dropping instantly. And if that's the case, get ready to learn X Defiant, buddy.
I think the other player that if we're gonna go down this path, I think the other player that we should discuss is Envoy, because from my understanding, I think LA Thieves, as far as I know, if someone knows otherwise, please let me know. I think they're all free agents at the end of the season. Like Envoy would also be a perfect fit.
Envoy. So what about Sam?
Well, you have Sam coming as a name for Austin. The only problem with Sam though is it's back to the same problem with Alec. You got to make sure you figure out how to make Sam work in search. I think Envoy and Pred are more plug and play situations for them.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the same thing though. Even if they plug and play and Simp goes to an AR, they're still missing that like potential leadership aspect that.
But
let's say
Sam's
like
gonna bring that.
Brought.
Yeah, Sam's coming in and it's coming.
Yeah, but you didn't say Sam. You were talking about Envoy more. But either way, I think there's a lot of routes. If FaZe is not happy, I think there's a lot of routes that they could take this next offseason that could further potentially improve their roster. And that would only pull away from like the other top teams. Imagine like you're just ripping Pred out of the hands of another good team. Like, and you're just inserting him in your roster. You essentially, it's going to be interesting.
I mean, one thing with FaZe too is that they're very. It's going to be easy for them to get attention, to draw that attention from players. Like a lot of people would want to play for Atlanta FaZe, right?
Who's Pred's agent?
I'm not sure.
It's the same agent as Hydra.
All right,
At least unless you change.
Pred, you need a new agent, and it needs to be me. And we will get some money this offseason.
What percent are you taking his deal? What percent are you getting?
I'll take a measly. I'll do 4%.
Oh, that's
good. That's good. That's great.
Because about the amount of money I'm gonna get him, it's gonna be outrageous.
Bro,
for anybody wondering, it is usually anywhere from 5% to 10% what the agent takes. Anywhere from 5 to 10% is usually where it's at.
I want to see Pat across the table from Hector, bro.
Imagine some outrageous shit. Imagine some outrageous shit where like OpTic do like go for that whole like Pred Sib move that we were talking about like before, and then Ghosty gets dropped, and then Ghosty goes to like FaZe for some reason as like an AR. How fucking hilarious would that be that this kid went from fucking college COD challengers to being on OpTic then FaZe?
Yeah, it's insane. It is insane.
What the fuck?
That'd be insane. But let's move on to the next question. What do you think fixes FaZe's hard point? What do you think is their problem in hard point right now? Bro, it's the slaying. Bro, especially, but Austin has not been helping in the hard point category for sure. I mean, I definitely think if you have a player who's really struggling in the slaying department, especially the main AR, it's going to hurt a little bit. But it's not their only problem. You know, they still make some mistakes. They still look a little sloppy at times. Some overchow. Sometimes they're too aggressive and they're not holding spawns. Like, they still make mistakes. but I definitely think even in the slang department, like sometimes it seems like they're all not there. I know people were obviously talking about MC's playstyle a little bit too. They think Cell plays a little too slow, but more recently he's been kind of that hill guy for them. I believe, right, Ben? He's
averaging like 90 seconds per 10 in this split.
Yeah.
I think it's either make Mercado or Hotel your bread and butter, because Embassy will then end up in the series, and that's a good closeout map for them. I think they need to solve one of those two maps, and it's going to open up really nicely for them. They make a lot of boneheaded plays on Mercado, and they toss a lot of close maps there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just getting kind of tossed on those first map hotels. They can figure one of those out. They're going to be really good.
Mercado's one of those standard ass fucking maps. It's in their map pool. They're good at it. They've won it a couple times here and there, but I don't feel like that should be a bread and butter for a team that's as talented as FaZe. I think these guys need to be good. They need to get good at like maps like Fortress and shit, like maps where they're tiny terrors and they're actual super aggressive or not hyper aggressive, but they're talented players can actually go out there and just fry other people. Not this fucking slow Mercado discipline bullshit where my grandma can hold Tin Hill. Like they're good at it, but like, get good at the other maps. Like, start trying to invest in those grittier maps.
What the Hydro play is, and that's why they started playing Hydro, because I think they're going out the different route, which is they see a potential opportunity with other teams on Hydro, and I kind of like that thought process.
It's just Mercado for me, from being a competitor standpoint, Mercado's that one map you can just lose to anyone. You get out rotated. They got a 4-man stack. As long as they're not throwing, you're not breaking. Like, you're not breaking these hills, and they're a team that is talented enough to break people, but the game design and the maps is just not favorable for that play style.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat said they were doubting Slasher. I'm definitely not doubting him. I feel like Slasher's definitely way better online, or on land, excuse me, not online. Online, I feel like he'd be going through it sometimes, especially with the sound equalization and stuff. Like, just seems like online his head's not there, but we'll see what happens on land. We know Slasher's, he always talks about the difference between LAN and online, but definitely not doubting him. I mean, FaZe has gotten top 3 placings. They've got a chip already this year. I mean, they're a great team, and Slasher's a great player. He's definitely in just a slump right now. He's not getting kills, but what do you guys think about what this guy said about Salween's playstyle? We just talked about it kind of a little bit, but I feel like he's changed his playstyle a little bit for recently, and starting to play a little bit more quicker. There was a period of time where he was playing pretty slow, and I'm guessing that FaZe have obviously talked to him about it, or they've went over some stuff on that end, because it seems like he's not playing like that too much anymore.
He's parking his ass in hill in hardpoint, and like the players around him, they have stuff to work on. I'm sure he's making mistakes as well if we nitpick, but I think they've definitely switched up the dynamic with MC. I like him soaking hill. That guy's nasty at getting those finesses in hill, staying alive, getting kills. It's like perfect.
Do you think, do you intend to talk about the gameplay in future watch parties, or just talk about how many kills you need players to get to win your bets? Both.
Go off, King.
We do both, man. My bets have not been looking good. Been losing a lot of bets. But it's both. I feel like it's both entertaining, the bets, and obviously we talk about the gameplay, but we don't want to over talk about it. We also talk.
Who in the chat is a Reddit mod? Send that guy to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah,
right
I guess he's.
There's only so much shit we can talk about on these games, bro. It's not like Cold War where we can pick and there's not enough time. Do you see how fast these fucking players play half the fucking time? It's just fucking head bashing sometimes.
We do both though, bro. If we see somebody make a dumb play, or if we see a team,
we roast it.
We always call it out. I mean, this guy's 100%. Probably just a hater though. Cauliflower, hey, lick my balls. Hey, dumb. Let's go to the next one. If you could do a crossover event with any other streamer or content creator, who would you choose, and what kind of content would you produce together? What would you collaborate on a specific game, or create something entirely new? Nick Merckx, bro. I'd love to do something with Nicola. That's the M fam right there. That'd be dope. Let's see. Kremp has been really good for Boston, but the team has taken a step back to solidify the mid-pack. Where do they go from here? Where does Boston go from here?
They're better at hardpoint. They're like 1-6 for the last 7 hardpoints. That extends to before Kremp was on the team. I think Ben Beans has been a really good ad, but he still feels like it's an awkward fit with them in hardpoint. They got to solve that game mode. I kind of like their kind of control game, and their search map pool is not particularly wide, so they need to work there. I think the hard point's a huge problem for them.
Yeah, agree. I think we can end it there. There's not really too many other questions. I usually just like to take the top questions, but let's move on over to the event and over to the bracket. I'll just straight up say, who do you guys think is going to be the top 3? Who do you guys think is going to be the top 3 of the event? If I had a guess, I'll say OpTic, FaZe, and Toronto. I think Toronto's, or sorry, not Toronto. I'm going to go with Seattle. OpTic, FaZe, Seattle, top 3. I'm not really too sure who's going to win or who's going to place what, but I think that's going to be the top 3.
Whoa, no Thieves?
Nope. I got OpTic, FaZe, or Seattle as top 3. That's who I got. Who do you got? Who do you got, Pat?
I got OpTic. No order, of course.
Bro, people are saying FaZe is ass right now. I know, but it's land. They always get top. It's just the history, bro. It's just the history. You know, I just expecting it to turn up.
I got no order. OpTic, FaZe, and Thieves. And right now, I got them all at a 33% chance, 33.3. And then I'll obviously make my prediction on the winner before the event.
Ben, who do you got?
OpTic for sure.
OpTic is a clear cut. You got Thieves for sure? Okay.
Thieves for sure. And I don't know, because I feel like New York could potentially get hot, use that Vegas matchup. You never know against OpTic, and then you're top 3 at that point. I don't know, man. It's just so hard. FaZe, obviously, that taxes and FaZe playing top 3, but maybe this is a major where that doesn't happen. I just feel like OpTic and Thieves are the 2 teams I feel confident in, and after that, it's a clusterfuck.
Chris, who do you got?
OpTic, Thieves, and New York. Reason I'm saying New York here is I feel like you're getting a lot more contribution from Skies this split. I think Kismet and Hydra have all looked good consistently. I think Priesta has had a struggle this split, but Skies has been looking really, really good. And if those 3 can come out at the major firing and playing well with their improvements in S&D and them still being pretty good at hardpoint nowadays, I think these guys are a sleeper this event. And obviously OpTic and Thieves are definitely looking like the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we're going to be live at the major, so we'll be doing our thing over there. We'll have the couch. We'll get everything going per usual. But, guys, we're changing things up. There's no putt for Ben today. I'm sinking a 3-pointer. I'm sinking it. I need everybody to get your channel point predictions in a chat. Because I'm about to let this baby fly like Steph Curry. Watch this.
They already did the predictions. The spread is outrageous, by the way. What's the spread, Chris?
I think he's sinking it.
He's fucking whiffing, bro. The spread is absurd to know. Like, everyone voted no.
Bro, this is Tommy. I'm going 500K channel points on yes.
Let's see. He lines up. He's dribbling.
Dude, this is bet the house, bro. Everyone's going to be homeless after this if he makes it.
He's thinking it through. He's lining up. He shoots.
Yes!
Oh, side rim.
I fucking told you, chat. He was fucking missing, dude. There's no way he hits this, bro. That was a bet the house challenge. That was the bet the house challenge, bro.
Jesus.
Holy shit.
Nah, there's something wrong with the ball. The ball is, it's not bouncing. It's deflated, bro. The ball's deflating.
Deflated.
You know what I mean? Damn, son.
Dude,
hey,
the
bro,
spread was absurd. 20 million channel points to 4 million channel points on 20 million on
Yeah,
no.
that's not right, bro. That's
I would
not
never
right,
steer you in the wrong direction.
Nah, that's
chat.
crazy,
Just know
bro.
That. Know that, chat.
Hey, man, I ain't a basketball player. Play me in the football, though, or the soccer. Let's get it going, bro. Little the flank football match. Hey, I'm not going to say anything too much. Don't want to leak anything, but would you guys like to be in a football soccer flank match or like a COD, Call of Duty community soccer match? I feel like that'd be. I'm saying soccer because obviously, you know, we're in America. But what would you guys, Chris? What do you mean?
Moving,
Chris, what do you mean, bro? You goalkeeper, bro.
I'm breaking my back if I do that.
You know what I mean? Come on, bro.
Listen, I'm down to do any sport, but I'm not playing soccer.
Damn, for real?
Why
not?
I'm playing. What
What about
basketball? What about basketball?
Absolutely, yeah.
You play some basketball?
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn, bro. Listen, bro. I really thought I was gonna sink that. I thought I was gonna sink that
chat,
shot and be the man, bro.
Yo, chat. It was really bright in that room, right, Tom? Was it the lights, Tom?
Nah. There's definitely a glare. The ceiling's also a little low, so it's hard to get that arch. You know what I mean? But Nah, that ball though, that ball's a little flat. You know, that ball's a little flat. But what are you gonna do? It is what it is. You know, maybe we'll hit the next one. But yo, this is actually really.
Ben still dodged the mini golf challenge. I just want to the putt putt.
What mini? How am I dodging?
Bro, I made that challenge back in Raleigh. I feel like and it's been dodged every event.
Book the place. I'm down.
You live in Columbus, Ben. You know where the spots are. I'll let you get home court advantage. You can play the course a few times.
I think there's actually one around. I think there's actually one around.
Nah, you can't let him play the course, bro. You'll get slammed.
You can play the course.
Nah, if you let him play the course a few times. Nah, yeah, you coming in fresh, Pat? You golf?
Oh, it's putt putt, Tom. It's putt putt.
That's hilarious, bro. I would
ain't no 7 foot little putt.
Wait, hold on. We should do an IRL stream in Columbus. Ben versus Pat 1v1 mini golf. I'll host it and I'll walk around and record y'all, bro. That'll be godlike. We should do that.
Sponsored by Ghost Gaming.
Sponsored by Ghost Lifestyle. Go to ghostlifestyle.com. I'm drinking a FaZe pop right now. Use code ZooMaa. It's an absolute pleasure. That's what I'm talking about. And then obviously, guys, we're gonna hop out of here. It was a good show, man. Obviously, the matches went by really quick today, but I am really, really excited to get into the major, and I hope you guys are too. The majors are always the best, man. So definitely excited to lock in. And do what we got to do over there. But as always, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites that we're on. And go follow @theflank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials as always. Also, make sure to stay tuned for the website. Website should be out soon, so stay tuned for that. I'll let you guys know when that goes live. As always, take care, brush your hair, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. We'll see you guys at the major. Take it easy.
Later, boys.
Peace.